We may have a new favourite right now. We may have a new TV series that's hooked us in, hook, line and sinker. They put their bloody fishing line out and we're just gobbling on the bait. Yeah, we're gobbling waiting for the next episode to be dropped. And what's the name of this show?
Only Murders in the Building!
And I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't sure if the acting was going to be that great. But, colour me surprised, Steve Martin, Martin Short, and most importantly, Selena Gomez putting in decent performances, specifically Selena Gomez, putting in a good performance, a bit Alex Russo-y. A little bit, but a bit more cold.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Selena Gomez's characters that I've seen have been, like, building on Alex Russo, but this one in particular, it felt the most full. Like, I've seen her since, like, Disney Channel, basically. And the story itself, look, I love me a good murder mystery. I always have. Murder mysteries can either be really, really good or really, really bad. And oftentimes, the sort of introduction is kind of unsteady and poor, unless it's like a traditional Agatha Christie, which was always 10 out of 10. Yeah. This got me, you know? I'm intrigued. I want to know who killed Tim Kono.
And they didn't give that much. It's not like they gave a lot for you to create the story in your head. It's really, really open right now. And it is only 2 episodes in, so I'm assuming as we go along, we're going to be able to create the plot lines, the through lines, the collation of evidence that they're going to be doing in the show. And just as a concept, it took everything that's good about the murder mystery genre, the fans, and it made them the whole story.
Yeah. It's a really interesting concept where these 3 individual people who happen to live in the same building don't know each other really at all. They're strangers. All kind of by a series of events happen to be together at the same time where they're all going, oh, I'm waiting to listen to my favourite podcast. It's dropping an episode. And they all go, wait, you listen to that podcast? Wait, you listen to that podcast? And they're all talking about what happens in this murder mystery podcast. Yeah. Then murder happens in their building. And they're like, I think that we could do a Mystery Machine Scooby-Doo and figure out who did this.
It's definitely an eclectic, unassuming group of people.
Yeah. One thing that the story has already done is shown us how character-driven it is. You know, from the beginning, I'm intrigued in this not because of Tim Kono and how he died. I'm intrigued because of these individual characters and where they lie in this building, in their lives, how interconnected they will be. Will they become friends? Will they hate each other?
They're definitely going to become friends. Love-hate relationships.
Yeah, I see them becoming friends. But I'm interested by these characters individually and, you know, why they're choosing to lie about these certain things, why they're shrouding things and, you know, what's going on.
What's the truth and what's the lies? That's the big thing, because you assume when you have total information, you can come to an assumption, you can come to a thought process. But if you have the wrong information, then you can't be right and you're inevitably going to be wrong. So people are playing different games of chess. Someone's playing chess, someone's playing checkers, someone's playing Chinese checkers. And don't get me started on that. I've no idea what's going on there. But I will say this show hooked us. It made us want to watch the next episode, which we're going to do right now. We've been waiting for like 4 days to get this episode on. So thankfully, it is indeed here. I will say something you brought up while we were watching it was the fact that New York is not a city for us. We've been there and it never felt right because it just feels so empty.
It feels so lonely, and I think they really made a point of that in this episode. You know, these people who live in the same building, who don't know each other at all, and they all seem especially lonely in the lives that they're leading while kind of trying to charade as if they're totally okay. Yeah. But, you know, Mabel's character, she sits in her bathroom and listens to the neighbour doing her thing through the vents because she's so sad and lonely.
Yeah.
And New York really felt like that when we went there. It felt like a grey version of London.
And that's wacky because London is monotone, if anything, most of the time. Like, the sun doesn't come out that often. It is indeed overcast most days of the year. But New York feels like a bigger, more soulless version of London with more stinky smells.
Yeah.
While the food's great, I don't think either of us got the best feeling off of the city. And we've been to a lot of cities. It's definitely my least favourite big city in the world.
Yeah, I would actively avoid it if I could.
Like, I've been to New Hampshire, I've been to California, and New York. New Jersey as well, I guess. It's the worst of those 3 states. But it might be great in the outskirts, you know, it might. But the city is just not for me. Even LA, I didn't love it, but it was more my tone, somehow, than New York. And I wasn't expecting that.
No.
You've been to more parts of America, though.
Yeah, I've been to, like, Middle America, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Even though a lot of those places are kind of old town, very quiet.
Not really cities. Some of them were. There are big cities in those states, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But even the small town America that I saw, that seemed a bit sad to me compared to London. But I would prefer that over New York because it had more heart.
It's like the countryside. There's a charm about it. You don't want to be there all year round, but you can deal with it for a couple of days and be like, oh, no internet. Lovely. And then you come back and you're like, no, I need YouTube. No, I need the interwebs. No, I need to see what's going on in the world. But this show was great. Episode 3 is coming out today and we're going to be watching that right now. So see you tomorrow. More of the same. Slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more. That's quality shitty content, by the way. I know I didn't do the outro. We're going to go watch the show. Just how it goes. See you tomorrow. Skadoosh.